السلام عليكم، صباح الخير، أهلا وسهلا. أهلا فاطمة، أهلا إيرابور، أهلا وسهلا. Let's get the chat started. Today is our fourth day. MashaAllah, here we go. We have about a few items to cover today, so let's get the chat started and say Assalamu alaikum to each other. If you can get your keyboard, your Arabic keyboard, and type in an Arabic word or just one of the phrases that we learned yesterday, or Assalamu alaikum, marhaba, to warm up a little bit before we get started. Ahlan Fawziya, Ahlan Munir, Ahlan wa sahlan. And I'm going to get my other device going so I can see the chat as well. عفوا يا فاطمة، أهلا وسهلا بك. Let's see. Be ready, get your notes. Simple learning. We're going to get our notes. Here is mine. No, my son just doodled on this one, but that's the fun part about being a mom. Now, you can get your notes and a pen and paper. That's all you need. قلم وورقة. قلم, pen, ورقة, paper. مساء الخير نيكول, أهلا وسهلا. Let's see, where is everyone joining us from? فاطمة, من أين أنت? عفاني, أهلا وسهلا. Thank you for sending the notes. أهلا وسهلا. So let's get started and waiting for the others to join. And you can tell me where you're joining from. I would say أنا من أمريكا. أنا من أمريكا. So I'm joining you from the United States. So أنا من أمريكا. And you can just say أنا من, I'm from. أو أنا في, I'm at or in. أنا في أمريكا. ياسمين في بريطانيا. جميل. عدنان في ميشيغان. جيد. يلا let's see. أنا في أمريكا. ياسمين في بريطانيا. عدنان في ميشيغان. كلاودي في الإمارات. جميل جدا. خوسيه من بيرو. هو في بيرو. جميل جدا. نقول من from وفي at. جيد. أنا بخير تموز، شكرا. ديكم من أفغانستان، أهلا وسهلا. أنا من تركيا تموز، ممتاز. أنت من تركيا. هل أنت في تركيا الآن؟ أنت من الهند يا دكتور شجاعان، ممتاز. من الهند مهد أيضا. روبرت من كاليفورنيا، جميل جدا. أنت في الإمارات يا كلاودي، جميل. وسمر من الهند، ممتاز. لا أنا من المغرب ولكن أنا في أمريكا. So I would say I'm from Morocco but I'm in America. Or أنا من تركيا، أنا في أمريكا. أنا من, so I'm from a country and I'm currently at a place. ممتاز، جميل جدا. أهلا وسهلا. So we'll get started. Louis Bean, Nicole. من الفلبين. Did I read that right? I'm sorry, Nicole. Louis Bean. Okay. So please just type it one more time. Maybe just my bad sight. I'll work on that one. أهلا، أنت من إسطنبول. جميل جدا. Okay, so we'll get started now that we got a good number for a regular class. Today we have few reminders. Make sure you print out this for you. I sent it out to everyone who registered. We closed the registration because the first 2 days you missed out on a few notes So I don't want to be sending the exact same notes to everyone again. So please just print out the copy if you got it. And remember, I put a note there for you as well as a reminder. It doesn't matter how slow you're going. All that matters is that you are consistent with your learning. 5 words a day, 2 words a day, 1 word a day. It won't matter as long as you are consistent. So thank you. Actually, I got a few notes from many learners. So shukran jazilan. And today's phrases, I'll read them, all of them at once. And then my question to you is you have to tell me if these sentences are affirmative or negative. When I say affirmative means it's a statement that you're doing. And when I'm saying negative means you're not doing that statement. It's like you're saying I don't do and I do. So I'll read them, listen in carefully, and then put in the chat box if these sentences are affirmative and negative. Please don't enter your answer until I'm done reading. يلا. لا أدرس الأدب والتاريخ، أنا أدرس الاقتصاد. لا أسمعك جيدا. لا أسمعك جيدا. لا أريد قهوة بسكر، أريدها بدون سكر. ليس عندي كتاب أو عندي قلم أو ورقة. لا أفهم الدرس. لا أفهم الدرس. So, I'll read them one more time at a faster pace. And I'll say 1, 2, 3 أو 1 2 3 and I'll look at the chat so I can see if it's affirmative or negative. لا أدرس الأدب والتاريخ، أنا أدرس الاقتصاد. لا أسمعك جيدا. لا أريد قهوة بسكر، أريدها بدون سكر. ليس عندي قلم. ليس عندي كتاب. ليس عندي ورقة. لا أفهم الدرس. جميل. So let's see. جيد جيد جيد. So I got Claudia's response. ممتاز. محمد أهلا. negation. ممتاز ممتاز. ياسمين، روبرت and Claudia وفاطمة. ممتاز. ممتاز. جميل. Yes, all of those sentences are in negation or negative. النفي. We call it النفي بالعربية. And I'll explain to you how different negation is. So please stick with me. Don't leave as we have a few more notes. And this is very important in this level. And all levels, even intermediate and advanced when it comes to negation. So we say negation. And then بالعربية نقول النفي. 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 لا. لا. لا أدرس الأدب. لا أدرس الأدب. I don't study الأدب. الأدب. literature. والتاريخ. والتاريخ. أنا أدرس الاقتصاد. What's الأدب، التاريخ، الاقتصاد? Put your responses in the chat and I'll move on to the next one. لا أسمعك جيدا. لا أسمعك جيدا. I don't hear you well. لا أسمعك جيدا. I don't hear you well. And pay attention to جيدا. It's not جيد as good or I'm doing well when you're describing yourself, but this one is more of an adverb because it's it follows a verb. So you would say جيدا. جيدا instead of جيد. لا أسمعك جيدا. لا أريد قهوة بسكر. أريدها بدون. So what's بدون? I'll put number 4 over here. ليس عندي قلم. ليس عندي قلم. I don't have a pen, قلم, كتاب, book. I'm gonna put it here. And ورقة, ورقة. What's ورقة? ورقة. Same thing. Put the number and then follow, proceed with the translation right after the number. لا أفهم الدرس. لا أفهم الدرس. I get that a lot. I don't understand the lesson. لا أفهم الدرس. لا أفهم الدرس. I don't understand the lesson. So the verbs you have here, I put them in a different color so you can see them. Then we'll go check the translation and then we'll explain how to use negation. يلا يا شباب. Let's see. أدرس, we have the verb study here. أسمع, hear. أريد, want. عندي, have. And أفهم, understand. And I'll highlight have because it's not a verb in Arabic. I'll explain to you why. So what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 كلمات. الأدب, التاريخ, الاقتصاد, بدون, وورقة. Let me look at the chat right now. جميل. I don't have a pen, a book, a paper. جميل جدا. جيد جيد. ورقة, paper. ممتاز نيكول. بدون, without, صحيح. سمار, ورق. ورق, the plural of ورقة. So ورق would be like أوراق and ورق for papers. ورقة جميل أو أوراق. شكرا تموز. جيد بدون. ممتاز. What's الأدب, التاريخ والاقتصاد. الأدب, التاريخ. سمار, التاريخ, history. جميل جدا. ممتاز. ممتاز. جميل. So ممتاز, I say it a lot, it means excellent. So جميل جدا. صحيح. I'll clear one more time that part and I'll put the translation right there. الأدب, literature, التاريخ, history. And if you are reading التاريخ in a context where you have to place the date, it also means date. Like today's date is what? So تاريخ اليوم هو. تاريخ اليوم هو. Oh, I dropped my paper. Sorry. There we go. I found it. So الأدب, literature, and then we have التاريخ, history. الاقتصاد, economics. So when I'm saying التاريخ, it could mean date as well. Not a date like people dating, but more of like time. Like today's date, تاريخ اليوم. I would say تاريخ اليوم. تاريخ اليوم. Literature, الأدب. الأدب. الاقتصاد, economics. الاقتصاد, economics. And then the other word we said is بدون. بدون. بدون, without. And then we have ورقة. ورقة for paper. And which other? Yeah, we got all of those. And then لا أفهم الدرس. Be careful with this one as well because it might be confused with صف as class and درس as the verb to study. And I'll place فتحة right here. Okay. And let's understand why do we have لا 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 ليس. So we have لا and ليس. In the examples I gave you, all of the verbs that follow لا come in the present tense. So I would say لا أدرس plus a verb in the present tense, and I would say لا أدرس. I don't study. لا أفهم. And it's important to make sure that you're only using لا with verbs, not with adjectives. I get students say لا فرحان, like I'm not happy. لا is only used with verbs in the present tense. As soon as you move to saying past, you're going to put a whole different negation, which is more of like لم, and you don't have to worry about this one yet. لم, and then you have len for future, and then you also have ma for past. These you would learn them in upper levels or just intermediate level. That's when we would introduce the past negation. But the beginning level, you have to practice and master the present tense negation when you're saying I don't understand. لا أفهم. لا أريد. I don't want. And all of those verbs from affirmative to negative using لا in the present tense. So remember this and please write it down as a note. When it comes to ليس, we have two ways to use ليس. And before I move on to ليس, let me see if someone has actually a question about لا. لحظة. السمع ليس كالصبر. صحيح. اقتصاد تاريخ جميل. Okay. Do you have any questions about لا؟ هل عندكم أي سؤال يا شباب؟ شكرا جزيلا. Okay, so we'll get to practice more. Look at your printout or the worksheet I sent you with 100 words, 100 verbs. You can use this negation with the verbs only. When it comes to ليس, I'll clear again. We have ليس, we use it with adjectives, and we use it with possessive. When I say ليس, I would say ليس مريض. He's not sick. ليس مريض. هو ليس مريض. When I use مريض, I refer to an adjective. So I would use ليس. If I'm saying I am not, I would say أنا لست. I'm not. لست مريض. If it's masculine, لست مريضة. لست مريضة. As soon as we decide to use negation with like not, which is ليس in this case, once we decide to use adjective, we have to know how to conjugate ليس. So I have to know how to say أنا لست, I'm not. أنت لست, you're not. أنت لستِ, هو ليس. I have a whole video where I explain this verb conjugation with ليس, which is not, when it comes to adjectives. So I'll send you the link, or if we have time, we can just go over that conjugation. Possessive, have, right here. ليس. It's more of like عند. Here we go. So we say ليس عندي. ليس عندي صف اليوم. I don't have class today. ليس عندي صف اليوم. ليس عندي. This ليس does not need conjugation. So you don't have to conjugate ليس when you're saying I don't have, you don't have, she doesn't have. What you have to do is place the possessive. That's why we included possessive over here. You say عندي, and then you have to say عندك. ليس عندك صف اليوم. ليس عندها صف اليوم. She doesn't have class. ليس عنده صف اليوم. ليس عندنا. We don't have class today. So ليس does not need to be conjugated when you are including the meaning of have. And have is not a verb in Arabic, which is عند. It's not a verb in Arabic. It's more of a possession. But if you're using adjective, you would say ليس فرحان. هو ليس فرحان. هو ليس تعبان. هو ليس هنا. He's not here. And you would say هنا. Let me put this one. ليس هنا. But if you're using لا again, that has to be with a verb in the present tense only. So let's see if we got this part. And each one of you will give me a verb with لا. Like لا آكل. I don't eat chicken. لا آكل دجاج. أحمد ليس هنا. Ahmed is not here. Or Ahmed ليس مريض. Ahmed is not sick. And then you could say something like ليس عندي. You don't have something. ليس عندي قلم. ليس عندي أستاذ. I don't have a teacher. ليس عندي بيت. ليس عندي anything that you would use. Make sure you say ليس عندي as a possession, and then you include your own vocab. So let's see if we got some. Yalla yalla, let's get that chat going, inshallah. And we'll learn. I'll give you my examples once you write your own. So try to form your own examples using لا, ليس with adjective, and ليس with possessive. That way we can proceed by correcting any misunderstandings you have about this type of negation in Arabic, and then I will just confirm and clarify more by giving you my examples. Let's see. تموز is saying عكس ليس يوجد. لا يوجد. So يوجد is there is. So you would use يوجد as a verb by saying لا يوجد. There isn't. لا يوجد. لا يوجد. Let me clear this so I can write يوجد. So Tammuz gave me the example of لا يوجد. يوجد, that one means there is not. لا يوجد لا يوجد طبيب. لا يوجد طبيب في حينا. There is no doctor in our neighborhood. لا يوجد طبيب في حينا. There is no. And here I'm using يوجد as the verb وجد, find. So when you say there is not, it's you're negating finding. Like, I cannot find a doctor in our neighborhood. لا يوجد طبيب في حينا. Or you can say لا أجد, I cannot find. لا أجد. Either you say I can't find, or you say there is not a doctor. So that's another form. لا شكرا على واجبي. لا أشرب شاي ميراج. شكرا جزيلا. أنا لست غضبان. ممتاز فاطمة. So if you're female, you would say أنا لست غضبانة. جميل. Let's get more examples. يلا شباب. So حي would be neighborhood. حي. And it sounds similar to alive. أنا حية, I'm alive. And هو حي, he's alive. But it also means neighborhood, the fun part about Arabic. لا أجد المسؤولية. I can't read the second one, the second word Tammuz. أنا لست جيد اليوم. ممتاز ميراج, you use that one that I just explained, which is جيد. Let me clarify how to use جيد and جيدا. We get that a lot, so I'm glad you used it. جيد would be an adjective. So you would say أنا لست جيد. أنا لست جيد. أنا لست جيدا. And you would use جيدا, not as well, but more of, this is a different type of grammar. It's more of like mansoob. So you'd say أنا لست جيدا. أنا لست جيد. The other one is after a verb. So you would say لا أدرس جيدا. لا أفهم جيدا. لا أدرس جيدا. This one, you cannot pause because you need to convey the meaning of well. Whereas this one, I have more room to say أنا جيد, which is the common form I use when I speak about I'm good. I have more room over here to pause. But if I'm using adverbs, we never pause. Like قريبا, أحيانا, sometimes. All of these, I do not have room to pause. Even when I say shukran, I cannot pause and say shukr, shukr. But جيد, when I mean good, I'm good, I'm doing well, then you would say جيد, you can pause. But this one, you would not have that room to pause. So make sure you just pay attention to that part if you're writing sentences. ممتاز. أنا لا أعرف جيد. ممتاز. لا يوجد مرحمة. تموز. He used a good example. There is no mercy, or in most people. رحمة. Oops, sorry. رحمة. It's mercy. I'll clear again. You can come back to these notes later on. So rahma is mercy. When you say la, you have to say توجد, referring to the female word. So there is no mercy in people. لا توجد. There is mercy in people. لا توجد رحمة في الناس. And rahma, it would refer to mercy, also kindness, pity, like you're more of like rahim, merciful. ممتاز. أنا لست جيدة في اللغات في اللغة العربية. لا، أنت جيدة يا فاطمة. أنت ممتازة يا فاطمة. Anytime we're using a noun with there isn't or there is not, make sure you indicate the gender. And I'm looking at your examples, that's why I'm correcting this. If I want to say there is no, I have to say ta for a female word like rahma, and I have to say ya for a masculine word like لا يوجد صف, there is no class. لا يوجد أستاذ, there is no teacher, male teacher. But if I'm saying there is no female teacher, I have to say توجد and يوجد. So be careful when you are using there is not. لن أتعلم العربية. لا، ستتعلم العربية إن شاء الله. لا يوجد لا مستشفى بالجوار. So مستشفى is feminine, then I would say لا توجد. There is no hospital in the area. توجد مستشفى hospital. ممتاز. So Claudia would be لا توجد ليس لا يوجد. لا توجد مستشفى. ممتاز يا شباب, ممتاز. Let's read the examples I have for you. Are we good with time? Yes, 1 minute. We should be good today. لا أحب. And I explained to you that I say b at the end because I'm speaking, but the proper grammatical structure is لا أحب الشاي. Most people, when they speak, they would pause at the end. So they would say, I don't like tea. لا أحب الشاي. I don't like tea. لا أحب القهوة. لا أحب القهوة. Claudia, you entered the same sentence again. So you would say لا توجد with ta. لا توجد. لا توجد مستشفى بالجوار. لا أذهب إلى الجامعة كل يوم. لا أذهب إلى الجامعة كل يوم. I don't go to the university. And here this is university. لا أذهب إلى الجامعة كل يوم. كل يوم. أسافر كثيرا. لا أسافر كثيرا. And here's another example of تنوين فتحة that we don't have room to pause over here. Like I can pause when I say لا أسافر, but I cannot say كثير. كثير. This has to be كثيرا. Because if you say كثير, you would mean many as a number. The other one, لا أعرف الجواب. I don't know the answer. لا أعرف الجواب. 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 ممتاز شباب. I'm so happy I get to see the live chat all in Arabic. جيد. لا أذهب إلى السوق. لا أذهب إلى السوق. ممتاز. لا أعرف الجواب. I do not know the answer. And that would be جواب. Answer, and the opposite is سؤال. Oops, and there is an alif over here. I'll clear again. جيد. So that is negation. You have any questions about negation in the present tense? And I would say سؤال. سؤال. جواب, answer, and then سؤال. يلا يا شباب, let's see. هل عندكم سؤال? Oh, if you want to say don't have a question, how would you say that? أنا سألت. My question is, هل عندكم سؤال? Do you all have a question? هل عندكم سؤال؟ نعم عندي سؤال. أو how would you negate that? I don't have a question. Do we say لا عندي سؤال أو ليس عندي سؤال? The third one, let me clear again so you can see it. لا أسافر كثيرا. I don't travel a lot. لا أسافر كثيرا. لا أسافر كثيرا. لا أحب الشاي. لا أذهب إلى الجامعة كل يوم. I don't go to the university every day. لا أذهب إلى الجامعة كل يوم. لا أعرف الجواب. I don't know the answer. So how would you say I don't have a question? Would you use لا عندي سؤال, ليس عندي سؤال? Which one would you use? One or two? I don't have a question. ممتاز. لا ممتاز روبرت. لا ليس عندي سؤال. صحيح. لا يوجد سؤال. There's no question. ممتاز. جيد. ممتاز. جميل جدا. جيد. And that'll be all for today. That's our study session. I think we should be good with time. 4 extra minutes. That's okay. يلا. تموز قال أنا عندي اعتراض. I have an objection. يلا يا تموز, ما هو اعتراضك؟ ما هو اعتراضك؟ What is your objection? ما هو اعتراضك؟ ممتاز. فنقول اعتراض, objection. That's a good one. ممتاز. اعتراض. Like I don't agree, so I have an objection. ممتاز. جميل جدا. نعم. So we would say ليس عندي. I'll just get a clear part over here. So we say ليس عندي سؤال. ليس عندي سؤال. And my question when I ask, I said هل عندك سؤال. The common way to ask yes and no questions is saying هل, do you, and also are you. هل عندك سؤال. And the one that Tammuz used is هل عندك اعتراض. Do you have an objection. هل عندك جواب. Do you have an answer. So you could just ask someone هل عندك. And you could also use هل with a verb. هل تدرس. Do you study. هل تدرس. And you can also use it with adjective. هل أنت فرحان. ممتاز كلاودي. لا يا معلمة ليس عندنا سؤال. And ممتاز جميل جدا. Another way of saying عندي, you can also say لدي. And then also we use لي. Let me clear this part. And I can say لدي سؤال. لدي سؤال. I have a question. But if you want to own something, like you say, I have something as more of an ownership, that's when you use لي. And you can say, I have a brother. لي أخ. So I'll just say عندي. لدي. And لي. All of them mean I have. The only difference is that عندي, you can use it like to own something, as you own something, and also like عندي سؤال with a noun. I have a question. Same with this own, you own and then a noun as a question, but لي more of a noun. لي أخ. I have a brother. And you can say عندي أخ. لدي أخ, it's not that common. We usually say لي أخ أو عندي أخ. And this means brother. جميل جدا يا شباب. خلاص, we're done for today. Inshallah, tomorrow is our last day for our free live study sessions. I hope that you learned from these gatherings and how to learn. There are multiple playlists that follow the exact same instructional pattern. You can check Arabic verbs. You can check Al-Kitab. At this stage, you should be able to access Al-Kitab textbook. Units and vocabulary are also part of the playlist. And then Arabic verbs, and then Arabic level practice, level 2. So level 2, Arabic practice, verbs, and also Al-Kitab series. ممتاز يا شباب. So شكرا جزيلا. And إن شاء الله أراكم غدا. مع السلامة. شكرا يا شباب. شكرا. I'm just going to take a moment to read all the chats. And إن شاء الله يا سمر. تموز، ما هو موضوع درسنا الغد؟ إن شاء الله غد عندنا درس جديد سنعرفه غدا يا تموز. I hope I'm saying your name correct. تموز صحيح. هل تعرف الإسبانية؟ لا نعرف الإسبانية. إلى اللقاء مستر إكس، مع السلامة. تموز، غدا إن شاء الله. Tomorrow إن شاء الله we have another set of sentences and another grammatical lesson. أراك غدا يا إيرابور. مع السلامة. مع السلامة سمر. You're welcome. جزاك الله خيرا عفاني، شكرا جزيلا. I'm happy that you enjoyed class Cloudy. شكرا. مع السلامة فاطمة. مع السلامة سوسي. مع السلامة نيكول. أين أنت نيكول؟ مع السلامة روبرت. مع السلامة لي. I didn't see Gohil here today. سنلتقي غدا إن شاء الله. مع السلامة. ممتاز، جميل جدا. مع السلامة فوزية، جزاك الله خير. يلا شكرا. I guess I read most of the messages on the chat, and إن شاء الله غدا our last class, and I'll see you tomorrow. السلام عليكم.